Hey everyone! We are working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy the content and it is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button right now as we proceed. Stop everything you're doing right now because what I'm about to tell you is going to completely change how you see this upcoming quarterfinal match. The mainstream media is about to feed you a lazy, predictable narrative about this being just another routine win for American superstar Coco Gauff on her path to another Grand Slam title. They're going to show you the highlight reels, the power shots, the athleticism, and they're going to convince you that this is a David versus Goliath story where Coco is the overwhelming favorite. But I'm here to tell you something that's going to send shockwaves through the tennis world. The numbers don't lie, and the numbers are screaming that Coco Gauff is walking straight into the most dangerous tactical nightmare of her entire career. This isn't just another tennis match. This is an absolute collision course between two completely opposite forces, and when that first ball is struck, we're about to witness something that will have the entire sports world talking for weeks. Let me paint you the picture of what's really happening here, because the casual tennis fan scrolling through their social media feed tomorrow morning is going to be completely blindsided by what's about to go down. You're going to see those flashy YouTube thumbnails with shocked faces and neon letters calling this a standard upset alert. The television networks are already preparing their polished promo packages, ready to sell you on American dominance and championship inevitability. But what they're absolutely terrified to tell you, what they're desperately trying to keep quiet, is that we're not looking at a simple quarterfinal match. We're looking at the irresistible force meeting the immovable object. We're looking at a statistical paradox that's about to explode onto center court, and I've got the receipts to prove exactly why this match is going to be an absolute bloodbath. Before we dive into the brutal tactical breakdown that's going to blow your mind, we need to talk about the energy surrounding this match because this isn't just happening on the court. This is happening in the stands, in the comment sections, across the entire global tennis community. To the EALA army, you beautiful people have been screaming from the rooftops for months that Alexandra EALA is a generational talent. You watched her grinding through lower-level tournaments when nobody was paying attention. You saw her meticulous footwork, her incredibly high tennis IQ, her relentless baseline game, and you built an absolute fortress of support around her. The so-called experts laughed it off, saying she didn't have the raw power to compete with the heavy hitters. But you knew. You always knew. And now your girl is standing on the biggest stage, ready to prove everyone wrong. And to the Coco Gauff defenders, the faithful who have watched your champion carry the suffocating weight of American tennis expectations on her shoulders since she was 15 years old, you've been through it all. You've watched her fight through swing changes, coaching changes, mechanical crises that would have broken lesser players. You've watched her win ugly matches purely on heart and freakish athleticism when nothing else was working. You've stood by her through every criticism, every doubter, every hater who said she couldn't handle the pressure. The passion that both of these fan bases bring is going to turn center court into a pressure cooker unlike anything we've seen this season. When these two warriors walk out of that tunnel, the atmosphere is going to be so thick you could cut it with a knife. This is not just a quarterfinal. This is a cultural moment for tennis. Now, here's where things get absolutely terrifying for Coco Gauff fans, and I need you to really hear what I'm about to say because the mainstream analysts are too polite to tell you the truth. Coco has been surviving this entire tournament on pure athleticism and stubborn arrogance, but her serving game is completely falling apart. We're not talking about a minor slump here. We're talking about a full-blown mechanical crisis that should have gotten her knocked out rounds ago. I've been tracking the data all season, and what I'm seeing is genuinely shocking for a Grand Slam champion. Coco Gauff has been stepping up to the service line and committing an absolute massacre of double faults. We're talking 12, sometimes 16 double faults in a single match. Put yourself in her shoes for a second and imagine the psychological torture of that. She's completely lost in her own service motion. Her first serve percentage has been hovering in the abysmal low 40s, meaning she's constantly, predictably relying on a weak, nervous second serve. She's bleeding free points like a broken faucet. She's actively handing her opponents entire games without them ever having to swing a racket. In any normal universe, a player serving like that gets blown off the court in under an hour and goes home embarrassed. But here's the absolute paradox that makes Coco Gauff such a terrifying competitor, and why she's still standing as a Grand Slam champion despite this serving disaster. She refuses to die. She possesses this cold-blooded clutch factor where she completely dominates baseline rallies when her back is pinned against the wall. Coco wins by dragging her opponents into a chaotic, messy, ugly street fight. She basically looks at her opponent and says, "Okay, my serve is a disaster. I'm giving you free points. But the second that ball is in play, I'm going to run you into the ground until you collapse." She covers the court faster than any woman on the planet. She retrieves balls that are mathematically impossible to reach. She beats players with raw power, defensive brilliance, and athletic intimidation when the pressure peaks. She relies entirely on the fact that her opponents will eventually get scared, tighten up, and fold under the immense physical stress of trying to hit a clean winner past her. Coco Gauff is the ultimate survivor. She's an apex predator who is somehow most dangerous when she's wounded. But now, and this is where your jaw needs to hit the floor, she's facing the absolute worst possible tactical nightmare she could ever encounter in her current mechanical state. She's facing Alexandra EALA. If Coco Gauff is the ultimate chaotic survivor, Alexandra EALA is the cold, calculated, deeply intelligent baseline assassin. You cannot intimidate Alexandra EALA. You cannot drag her into a chaotic street fight and expect her to panic, because the grinding, grueling baseline exchange is her absolute kingdom. We've been watching EALA completely dismantle seasoned, highly tactical veterans all tournament long without hitting a single ace. 0 free points. Think about the physical and mental discipline that requires. Every single point she wins is a lung-burning masterclass in point construction, heavy topspin, and absolute physical endurance. She voluntarily plays the game on the highest difficulty setting, giving up the easiest weapon in tennis, and she still suffocates her opponents. And this is where the statistical collision is about to happen. This is where the entire match is going to be decided. EALA has been putting up freakish, statistically impossible win rates on her second serve. We've seen her win over 70% of her second serve points. She has turned the most vulnerable shot in tennis into an impenetrable fortress. So I'm sitting here asking myself the most important question of this entire tournament. What happens when Coco Gauff's broken, wildly inconsistent service game meets Alexandra EALA's relentless, unbothered baseline consistency? If Coco Gauff steps onto center court thinking she can hand over a dozen double faults and still win the match from the baseline like she's been doing all tournament, she is walking directly into a wood chipper. EALA's entire game is built on punishing inconsistency. When Coco misses that first serve, the EALA army is going to roar. The stadium is going to shake. And EALA is going to step aggressively inside the baseline with absolutely zero fear. She's going to take Coco's nervous second serves incredibly early, rob the American of her precious reaction time, and force her to hit impossible shots on the dead run. Here's what makes EALA so dangerous in this specific matchup. She doesn't go for crazy low percentage winners that might miss and give Coco free points. She hits heavy, deep, violently spinning balls that slowly drain the life and confidence out of the player across the net. It's death by 1,000 cuts. It's psychological warfare disguised as baseline tennis. And for a player like Coco who's already battling her own demons on the serve, facing an opponent who never misses and never gives you anything easy is an absolute nightmare scenario. This epic quarterfinal is going to be decided entirely in the microscopic, invisible margins of mental warfare. It's not about who hits the hardest forehand. It's not about who can run the fastest. It's about who blinks first when the score is locked at 5-all in the third set and every single point feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds. Coco Gauff thrives on being the alpha predator. She feeds off the fear in her opponent's eyes when she tracks down an impossible drop shot and rips a passing shot down the line. But when Coco looks across the net on match day, she's not going to see fear. She's going to see EALA calmly bouncing the ball, completely unfazed by Coco's speed, completely unbothered by her reputation, ready to hit a 30-shot rally if that's what it takes to win the point. Imagine the suffocating pressure on Coco Gauff when she tosses the ball up for a second serve at 30-40. Knowing that if she misses by a fraction of an inch, EALA is not going to miss the return. Coco's arm is going to feel like it weighs 1,000 pounds. She knows she cannot rely on free points. She knows that EALA will happily absorb every single ounce of pace Coco throws at her and send it right back with interest. EALA is going to test Coco's patience. She's going to test her cardiovascular conditioning. And most importantly, she's going to test her sanity. We've seen EALA rattle off 7 consecutive games against seasoned veterans by simply refusing to miss. If she gets into Coco's head early, if she secures 1 or 2 early breaks of serve because of Coco's double faults, we could witness a methodical, clinical dismantling of the American superstar in front of a global audience. The entire tennis world would be sent into complete shock. But here's where it gets interesting, because we also cannot underestimate the heart of a champion. Coco Gauff has been in these dark, terrifying places before. She's been down a set and a break, fighting her own serve, fighting the crowd, fighting her own mind, and she has found a way to dig her fingernails into the dirt and pull herself out of hell. If Coco can somehow, miraculously, find a rhythm on her first serve, if she can land 60 or 70% of her first deliveries, the entire dynamic of this match flips completely. Suddenly EALA is the one being pushed backwards. Suddenly EALA's lack of aces becomes a massive liability because Coco is going to be returning with absolute venom, turning defense into offense in the blink of an eye. If Coco can turn this into a pure sprinting contest, a pure contest of explosive power and athleticism, she has the upper hand. The question that's keeping tennis analysts up at night is simple but devastating. Can Coco's mechanics hold up under the relentless, probing pressure of EALA's baseline game? Will Coco accept the reality that she has to play long rallies and be patient, or will she panic, try to end points too early, and start spraying unforced errors into the bottom of the net? This is why I'm losing my mind over this matchup. This is the perfect clash of styles. It's the raw, unbridled, slightly chaotic athletic genius of Coco Gauff against the meticulous, highly disciplined baseline geometry of Alexandra EALA. The media desperately wants to sell you a narrative of American dominance and inevitable victory. But the raw data, the underlying mathematics of how these two women actually play tennis right now, screams that this is a genuine coin flip. EALA is the perfect, scientifically designed kryptonite for a player struggling with mechanical consistency. She doesn't need aces. She doesn't need cheap points. She just needs her racket, a baseline, and the unwavering roar of her fans. But Coco Gauff is the ultimate wild card. She defies statistics. She breaks the models. She wins when the numbers say she should lose. This is the exact moment where potential transforms into reality for both of these incredible athletes. This is the match that defines entire seasons, that creates legends, that gets replayed in highlight packages for decades. So here's what I need from you right now. I want to know exactly what both fan bases are feeling as we inch closer to this massive collision. Are you nervous? Are you absolutely convinced that EALA's baseline dominance is going to expose Coco's serving crisis? Or do you think Coco's Grand Slam experience and elite speed are going to be too much for the young star to handle? How loud is it going to be when EALA rips her first passing shot, or when Coco saves a break point with a massive forehand winner? I need you to flood the comments section right now with your predictions, your tactical breakdowns, and your energy. Tell me exactly how you see this epic quarterfinal playing out. Do you think EALA is going to aggressively attack every single second serve that floats over the net? Do you think Coco is going to fix her toss in time, or is she going to have to rely entirely on her defense again? This is your moment to be heard before the mainstream media tries to spin their manufactured narrative. Hit that like button right now to push this real, unfiltered analysis to the top of everyone's feed. Subscribe to this channel and turn on those notifications because you do not want to miss the immediate post-match breakdown the second that final point is played. Get your snacks ready, clear your schedule, and prepare yourself for an absolute war on center court. Coco Gauff and Alexandra EALA are about to step onto that baseline, and the entire tennis world is completely unprepared for the statistical anomaly that's about to unfold. This is going to be legendary, and I'll see you on the other side. Let's go!